What is happening, Internet? Welcome back to Fortnite on K-Wing's Let's Plays and the Harley Quinn Rebirth skin from Batman Zero Point and, of course, DC Comics Rebirth. This skin will be releasing around June of this year, and I've got her paired with some Joker stuff, because why not? So, DC Comics made a big oopsies when they released this character. Those of you that have the DC Infinite thing like I do, well, they made some major mistakes, but today they sent out codes that actually work, so that's why we didn't look at this character yesterday. Also, there's a Batman armored skin coming that looks kind of dumb, but that'll be coming out sometime this year, or you can collect all 6 issues of the Batman Zero Point comic book about Fortnite, and you can eventually get the skin. Deathstroke and Robin will be coming as well, but we don't know when the release date for those characters will be. But, yep, it's time for some Harley Quinn Rebirth. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. I had to eat dinner, so that's why I'm a little late. Alright. So, yeah, I've got her using Joker's mallet and Joker's little backpack guy, because, I don't know, it works. Looks good. So we'll be doing mostly playing with you guys, and maybe some squads. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, so you also got a Rebirth Harley Quinn skin. She is not a additional skin for the Harley Quinn Suicide Squad character. This is her own skin. So Harley, like Batman, has 2 different skins that are 2 different characters. Just like you have movie Batman and you have comic book Batman. You now have comic book Harley Quinn, and you've got movie Harley Quinn. So, they're separate. Which is interesting, I suppose. Alright. And I gave her Catwoman's glider because I figured why not. I really wish they gave Joker like a weird clown glider, because then we could have given it to Quinn, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And who knows, maybe we'll be getting a Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck skin next year when the Flash movie comes out. The Flash movie is currently filming right now, starring Ben Affleck, Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, Sasha, somebody is Supergirl, and then a bunch of other people that are rumored to be attached. Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, things like that. Possibly a cameo from Henry Cavill. Yay! Good times, good times. Why just a cameo? Because who knows? Only time will tell. If he has a cameo in the Flash movie, that means he'll have a bigger role in the Rock's movie. So Henry Cavill will have to play ball. If he doesn't play ball, then no more Superman for Cavill anyway. Because, I mean, the Rock is his last shot right now. Yeah, but if Cavill plays his cards right, then everything could work out well for him. The Rock is pretty big in Hollywood right now, at least in Warner, so. Like I said, if everybody plays their cards right. Although Ben Affleck is being, well, besides demanding more money, he's rumored to be in talks with HBO Max still. And his conditions for returning keep getting higher and higher. Although it doesn't sound like HBO Max has bailed on the idea of working with him, like for other Batman spin-offs or whatever, on the... Because like I said, and I've told you guys 6 months ago, HBO Max wants their Mandalorian series, and that's not going to be Matt Reeves' Gotham City series. So they want their own Mandalorian draw, and what would be that is like a Batman or Deathstroke series. But besides, you know, wanting more money, Affleck also wants full control over everything to do with his Batman, which makes sense. I hope he gets it. We'll see what happens after the Flash movie. That's all I can tell you. I will be doing a podcast later this week discussing all the stuff that's going on with that. what's going to be happening with Keaton's Batman, all kinds of fun stuff. So you can expect a podcast this week on the O1 channel. Probably be Saturday because I'm pretty busy today, tomorrow, and Friday. But Saturday I'm pretty open for a stream anyway. But if I end up making a video on the other channel, maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I kind of like doing the long podcasts, though. Instead of just, like, small uploads. But we'll see. Depends what I have time for. It does, it does. Harley Quinn skin's not too bad. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't have a Rebirth skin before, but like I said, this is a big comic book tie-in, so... But I do not like the 0 Point Batman skin. I think it's pretty lame. When they said Batman Armored skin, I was thinking, oh, we're gonna get Affleck skin. Nope. You're getting, like, this weird, put-together batsuit that Bruce is using in the 0 Point comics, which is a callback to Batman Zero Year One, or whatever, from the New 52. But with, like, a giant chest piece that he had in DC Future State. I mean, they might be doing that, too, so people get used to the Matt Reeves Batman, who's basically hobbled together his own batsuit. So that's what Bruce did when he ended up in the world of Fortnite. Did I say Flashpoint? I might have. But we already know what the Deathstroke skin is going to look like. It appeared in the Batman 0 Point comic book. Both Harley and Catwoman are wearing their kind of Fortnite costumes. And the Robin and the Deathstroke that have appeared in that book, or will appear in that book, that's what you can expect the characters to look like when Robin and Deathstroke end up in this game later this year. Probably this summer. I think Deathstroke looks okay. Kind of looks like his DC Rebirth version. And Damian's Robin suit is... It's kind of like a combination of his New 52, Grant Morrison, and DC Rebirth costume. More or less. So it doesn't look too bad. And maybe one of these years we'll actually see Damian get taller. Like, Damian is still pretty short. Considering his age now. I think he's supposed to be like 14 or 15. He's still kind of a tiny guy. Tiny Robin. Although he's not Robin anymore in the comics. He's Damian Ninja guy. Ninja Robin, I guess? I don't know. Although the Damian books are actually pretty interesting right now. He's kind of doing this, what do they call it? Oh, what's the name of that show? What's that reference I can do? Game of Thrones? No, not Game of Thrones. Hunter, yeah, Hunger Games. That's it. Yeah, not Game of Thrones. He's doing like a Hunger Games thing against the League of Assassins. Where basically he has to fight all these different obscure DC characters that haven't been seen in a long time. Like Green Arrow's son, who's apparently evil now, whatever. And characters we haven't seen in a long time. Like, they're going to pop up in Damian's book. But it's still not as good as Super Sons. Super Sons DC had such a good thing going. And then Bendis killed it. Not even sure why Bendis got rid of Super Sons. It was a great book. People love that book. People want another book just like it. And they're like, nah. We're gonna do something weird with Jonathan. We're gonna have him age to be like 18 or 19 years old so he can be Superman now. And we're gonna make Damian crazier. So, it's like, really? Super Sons was so fun. And now it feels like Damian is regressing. Like, if you remember what Damian was like during the Grant Morrison run, that kind of feels like the character's DC's backpedaling with him. And they're not really doing much with Tim Drake either. So, I mean, it's just kind of like, okay. I guess that's why you have to read that Robin's book that may or may not end up being released. But I'm pretty sure the Superman and Lois book is going to beat the Robin's book for the new comic series starting this year. I haven't really been following the whole DC round robin poll because I honestly believe either Superman and Lois or the DC Robins are going to win the poll. But, you know, the first round I voted for Green Lantern, the second round I voted for Green Lantern, and the third round I voted for the Robins. So I don't know who won after that. I haven't paid attention to it after that. Because I found out my boy Nightwing's going to be in it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna vote for this book, even though I really want to see Kyle Rayner and Kilowog in a book together, like bad cop, good cop type thing. And we haven't seen much of Kyle Rayner in a long time. They put Nightwing in the book, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna support this. I'm so easy to read, my gosh. You throw Nightwing in it and I buy it. It's like, whatever. I'm so predictable. Yep. I is. Whoop. Alright, so my team is actually doing really well. Hey, Harley. So what do you guys think of the Harley Quinn skin? You like it? Would you go out of your way to get the comic in order to get the character? I don't advise getting it through the DC Infinite unless you really have to, like you weren't able to find it in stores, because DC Infinite, that was kind of a major failure, because apparently the books actually came out on the 19th, so people had the skin as early as the 19th or 18th, like in Fortnite. And DC Infinite, what was supposed to happen for DC Infinite subscribers, like the people who pay $7 a month for this comic book service, that it's not too bad. I mean, you get a lot of decent DC comics, but for new releases like Nightwing, no. Nightwing you still have to get through Comixology or whatever. And, you know, pay whatever the cost for that is. And the cost for comics is going up. Because they're trying to compete with manga, and manga is just killing Western comics, like, by a lot. Before, manga was kind of catching up to, in America, the sales of DC and Marvel. Like, the Batman books and some of the Marvel books had, like, a pretty comfortable lead over manga. And ever since the pandemic, like, manga has overtaken Western comic sales, both digitally and physically, by 250,000. In total, they're like, I think they're selling between 400,000 to 500,000 copies a month for certain books. And Batman's highest was around 200,000 prior to the pandemic. He was doing about 100,000 to 80,000 a month in terms of book sales or books sold. And manga was in the 100,000 to 90,000 range. And they overtook Batman, I think it was 3 months ago. And now they're just like dwarfing Western comic sales by not even a close margin. And this keeps up, you can say goodbye to Marvel and DC in terms of like new comics other than graphic novels, because there's no way. Like DC and Marvel are going to want a piece of that anime pie, manga pie. So, like Disney will do something where they can try to either, I don't know, buy an animation studio in Japan or something. Who knows? But the comic book stuff in the West is not in good shape. They've done a lot of, we'll say, dicey stuff that has kind of cut their fan base in half. It has not expanded it by them, you know the word I want to use, trying to appease the Twitter Puritans and the NPCs on Twitter, has sacrificed a lot of sales and a lot of really good customers that were known as, they would buy bulk comics. They were pull listers, and you've lost a lot of pull people who've gone to manga and stuff like that. And manga's cheaper, so they could get more manga. That way they could get through a series much faster. Or, you know, get into the spin-offs of the series and all kinds of stuff. I'm still surprised. I can't believe it. I never thought I would see a day where manga has dwarfed Western comic sales in its own country. That's insane. Tell you what. And that's not going to bode well for the industry. Especially if this keeps up. And DC and Marvel raising their comic book prices is not going to keep people happy. It's almost $6 now for a new Batman comic. Like, I kid you not. If you want a cheap comic, then you get the Black Batman. What's his name? Tim? But if you want Bruce Wayne comics, you're going to have to pay like $6. Something like that, going forward. The new Keaton books that are coming out aren't too bad. It'd be like $4.99, something like that. But somebody should tell people that raising the price doesn't necessarily mean your book's going to sell more. You might keep the diehard fans like buying into your book for a while, but eventually they're going to get mad and they're just going to go someplace cheaper. So that's why I guess DC Infinite is good, but DC Infinite doesn't have a lot of new stuff, really. They have a couple exclusives, but not a lot. They have some Japanese manga stuff on the DC Infinite that I think is going to star Red Hood, and some Batman stuff, and they have Ruby and some other things. But in terms of like really new comics, I think they're at least 6 months behind. They have a good selection, don't get me wrong. $7 a month to have access to thousands of DC comics is not a bad thing, but they should really try to add a lot more new stuff. It's almost like what Blockbuster used to be, where they'd have a bunch of videos come out, you know, shortly after the movie was out, but it was almost like a year or two later, you know? Or not a year or two later, like 6 months after the movie had already been out. And they just had like a wide variety of older stuff. Alright, let's get another group in. Harley Quinn. And just a reminder, guys, as far as I know, there is another stream tonight. Alright, let's give her some of her Suicide Squad stuff. Suicide Squad bat. And do I have any other Joker backpack stuff? Where's the DC stuff at? Wait, this is it for DC? No way. Speed Force backpack, Black Mana jetpack, Laugh Riot box, Dimensional Gate, Poison Ivy plant, Green Arrow's quiver. Wow, that's sad. Huh. Well, I guess we'll stay with the Joker thing then. Didn't I have like another Joker thing? Yeah, you have like Joker's Revenge, Joker's Kane thing. We'll go with that. Why not? And we're gonna have Harl's. Where's the Batman cape? Okay, there we go. Backlighter. Okay. Cool beans. What did I think of the R-rated Harley Quinn show? It's pretty good. It was a little weird. I'm not really into a lot of gore stuff, and they really were pushing... It was a lot of, like... They call it, I think the industry term is black humor or dark humor. One or the other. Like, something that is really intense, but sometimes funny. But also it's like shock and awe type thing. I don't like gore. I thought the show was funny at points. My favorite character was kind of between Batman and Jim Gordon was kind of funny. And I also liked King Shark. And the first season was the, what's his name? The landlord guy was funny in the wheelchair. But, I mean, it's a very adult show. I didn't like the gore stuff. I don't watch anime with a lot of gore. I don't watch cartoons with a lot of gore. It's not my thing. I did think the writing was funny the first season. The second season was kind of meh. I'm hopeful for the third season. Maybe we'll get a pairing of Wonder Woman and Batman after the end of the second season. Because I think that'd be interesting to take the characters. But other than that, I don't know. I think my biggest problem with the show is I didn't like that they killed off most of the Batman villains. I thought that was kind of stupid. I thought a lot of them were going to come back like in a Flashpoint type thing, or like once the Justice League returned from being trapped inside the book or something. Flash would kind of set things right, but no, you have a lot of Batman villains that are just dead. They died hilariously, mind you, but it was still kind of like, wow. So, maybe they did that because they didn't have the rights to use the characters very long? I don't know. There's rumors of 2 different Batman animated series that are in production right now. The re-release of the classic Batman animated series with a 5th or 6th season. That's more mature, but not like R-rated. And then like a multiverse type of, what do they call it? Kind of like Batman Brave and the Bold show. It's supposed to be in development, but it's not Brave and the Bold. But it's more along the lines of like that Silver Age goofiness. And they were supposed to do some announcements for a lot of different like Batman shows. Like that Hot Wheels Batman cartoon and stuff like that during San Diego Comic-Con. But they didn't even really do it during DC Fandom. But that stuff is still happening. I just don't know when we're actually going to get a release for that. It's possible that Kevin Conroy's ADR session that's happening right now is for his role in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. Like, either he's voicing Batman or Roger Craig Smith is going to voice Batman. But some people are saying that the ADR that Conroy has been doing is for the animated series relaunch on HBO Max. Like for, I think, a 12 or 13 episode season is what they're trying to do. Whether or not it's successful or not, we don't know, but it's supposed to be based on The Adventure Continues. If you've read those comic books, the ones that have introduced Red Hood and stuff like that. So, we'll see if it ends up working out or if not. But you won't get any official confirmation from that until probably San Diego Comic-Con or something else, because right now they're trying to push the Suicide Squad movie that comes out this August. And for animated, they are heavily pushing The Long Halloween Parts 1 and 2 with the Supernatural star. What's his face? Jensen Ackles? The guy who played Red Hood and Under the Red Hood? So. Oh, and the Batman Hot Wheels show, or Batman Power Wheels, whatever it is. Batman as a car should be coming out this year. And there may be a tie-in video game, but of course I can't look at it because that brand is for kids, so. Years ago, I would have been pretty like, hey, okay, cool, Batman game. Basically, Batman as a car, sort of. I'll do a live stream on it, but no. That game would get us in serious trouble. I'm still planning on looking at the DC Superhero Girls game, but as like a live stream. Because that... it's a little... It's hard to do uploads of that. Because if you look for that show on YouTube, YouTube has it listed as a 4K IDS show. So if you were to do uploads of it, like, you'll probably get YouTube to automatically say that your video is for kids. So the best way to get around that is live stream and also to have kind of a spicy thumbnail. And when I mean spicy, I don't mean, like, not safe for work. I just mean, like, more age-appropriate. Like, if you're targeting teenagers, then you need, like, more adult-looking art, but not something that YouTube's going to be like, okay, we're going to give you yellow monetization because of your thumbnail. So, I have an artist, like, working on some Batgirl and Wonder Girl art that looks a little bit more mature, but it's not, like, spicy. It's not gonna, you know, get us in trouble, but it uses the same costume designs from that show. It's just they look a little bit more mature. They look a little older. That way, when I throw the thumbnails together and I'm doing like an hour-and-a-half streams of that game this fall, or not fall, I think it's coming out in the summer still. We should be able to fly under the radar of stuff. That's the plan. Yeah, the DC, whatever it is, Superhero Girls, or whatever the name of that show is. Yeah, DC superhero girls. No, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying I made like it's not like you're gonna see the girls with their tongues sticking out on the thumbnails or anything. Come on, this is still a general audience channel. I didn't have the artist do that. I'm saying like the art style is gonna look like the art style that we use on our thumbnails, like very SAO, very anime-ish. But it's not going to use the same art style from the show because they've. Yeah, so instead of the girls looking like whatever age they're supposed to be, they're going to look like they're 18 or 20. You know? So I have to, or otherwise I wouldn't be able to cover the game. See, there's lots of in this game called YouTube. There are a lot of loopholes that you learn when it comes to looking at things that are technically general audience, but they're kind of elsewhere on YouTube labeled as kids properties. There's a way around it, and you just have to age them up in your thumbnails. Also, live stream it. Don't do uploads, because uploads could get tagged with that that new feature that's coming that can basically make your content all for kids. So you have to be careful. But you can fly under the radar because it's kind of like what's a good example I can use to explain this? When the YouTube bot is searching for things and they... Okay, you have to turn off the music, guy. Turn off the music. When YouTube is searching for things now, they basically... The bot incorporates your thumbnail as well as, you know, your keywords and things like that. So if you're looking at something that's, say, Yokai Watch, and you put an image of, we'll say, you aged up one of the kids on the thumbnail. Or you put an adult on there with the ghost and stuff like that. You still kept the cartoon ghost, but you changed the way that the characters look. You, like, aged them up. You should be able to fly under the radar of YouTube's flagging system and the bot for KIDS stuff. But, you know, you got to be careful. You also don't want to make the images look too thirsty or anything like that, because then YouTube is going to basically call your stuff not safe for work, and they're going to demonetize you. So, also, you could technically get a strike, too, if you're posting things that they deem as inappropriate. Hey, Blazing Onyx, how you doing, man? Thanks so much for the super chat. But yeah, basically, we have some cool SAO-inspired art for the DC superhero girls coming. It'll be here when the game comes out, and I'll be streaming it with Amber, hopefully. I think it's co-op. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't stream that game on my own. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I've seen the show. I think the show's cute and everything, but, you know, in this day and age, you gotta be careful what you do. But, like I said, there's ways around it. You just have to be crafty and sneaky, but you gotta make sure that you make it age appropriate, too. Or else YouTube is gonna put your channel on a blacklist of, you know, channels that are, being pretty spicy. And we don't want to be on that side of YouTube. We have enough problems as it is, so... I don't want to be over there with get that group of people watching my videos. No thanks. But yeah, that's how we'll be able to look at that game. No, you don't want that group watching your videos. That would be bad. Not the chicken! Why would you shoot the chicken? What did the chicken ever do to you? Murderer. Still, I never thought I would have to change this much. Like, we always started out trying to be like a general audience thing that looked at all kinds of games that were like E for All or T, you know, and it just feels like in order to survive with the new laws and stuff like that, kind of had to change some of our ethics, or at least I've had to, because years ago Amber wouldn't even let me put like thumbnails with cleavage on them, because, you know, Amber used to, Amber used to make like if the girls had like very prominent cleavage, she used to go into Photoshop and she would basically remove the cleavage marks and make it look like they were just wearing a shirt. It's not like she would like shrink the size of the, tracts of land or anything like that, but she would get rid of some of the curves like involved with making them appear more spicy than they. Yeah. But nowadays we don't really get rid of the line as much because I mean, obviously, we don't want somebody to be like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna label this video for kids. I was actually really surprised to see I kid you not, there are some Harley Quinn things based on that R-rated show that YouTube has literally labeled for kids, including one clip where Scarecrow is melted by the Joker, and they have it listed for kids. They also have some very bow chicka bow stuff between Harley Quinn and Deadshot from the Arkham movie. They have that listed as for kids on YouTube. I kid you not. The clips are listed that way. And they have the innuendo banter between Superwoman and Batman from Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, which was very much an adult animated movie, and YouTube has that listed for kids. So their whole for kids thing is kind of messed up. Like, it doesn't work. So, yeah. They still have Happy Tree videos listed for kids on YouTube. Like, as part of the... You can watch it in the YouTube Kids app. I mean, all of this is YouTube's fault anyway, but we've had to find ways of surviving it. Which, yeah, we've had to compromise some of our things that we never would have. Like, if this U.S. law was never passed, then we probably never would have done any of this stuff. Like, that we normally do with the anime games we play and things like that. I mean, if it got so bad, I was going to start playing those dating sim games, like as live streams, because those do really popular on YouTube. The problem is the people that you attract who watch those games. And the fact that a lot of those games have stuff in them that is not necessarily embarrassing to talk about as a married guy, but not something that I ever thought I would be showcasing on any of my YouTube videos. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that we didn't have to fall that far from grace. But who knows what the future's going to be, you know? You never know. Fun times. But I'm just glad that we are pushing our Twitch lately. Amber's been doing a great job with that. I just have to remember that I need to stream Arkham Origins like 2 or 3 times over there before the end of the month, so I can hit us above that 75 viewer rating, so that I can get Amber a partnership, and then when she comes back from Illinois, she can, you know, focus on her Twitch channel if she wants. Don't worry about it. I'm just failing tremendously right now. I did always think it was cute that Amber was, that she used to change thumbnails, though. That's just something that Amber would do. It's like, it's kind of adorable. But that kind of stuff doesn't fly anymore. You can't. You can't do it. But you also have to be very careful, like, what type of anime girl thumbnails you do. I mean, I still get people on Instagram yelling at us. Like, when we were doing the Altair Ryza thing, I had, like, a bunch of angry parents. But I didn't stop doing Ryza because of angry parents. I did it because of the reception was so poor that it was basically crippling our views on other uploads. Because like I told you, YouTube penalizes you if you get low views. Like, what they do is they reevaluate how many views your channel gets. And if you don't bot, then you're screwed. But if you bot, you're screwed because your paycheck goes down. So, more or less, when Altalia Ryza wasn't hitting like 1,000 views a video, we had to pull it. We had to stop doing it because it was impacting. Dragon Ball went from 4,000 views a video to 2,000. YouTube just kept, every time we would release the Altalia Ryza thing, they would just keep lowering our other things and being like, well, we're just going to reevaluate how your views work because apparently your audience isn't watching this, so in reality that means they're not watching your Injustice or your Dragon Ball, so we're going to subtract like 2,000 views from that series. And they can legally do that too. So that's why if you see a series that was on here that you really liked and it wasn't getting watched, we had to stop it because it was impacting the views and live streams from other stuff. And I mean, it seems like it's totally illegal to do that though, because that was real people watching those videos, and then YouTube's just like, no, we're just going to subtract these real views. It's like, why? It's stupid. I mean, I don't know if they do that over on Twitch, but it's crazy. So yeah, that's why Altalia Ryza stopped and whatever other game we were doing, because they weren't hitting. If they didn't hit 1,000 views within 6 hours, we had to stop. So I mean, right now Injustice and all those other games were lowered down because of, you know. And then YouTube found this fun way of basically saying, okay, well, here's how live streams are going to work now. You had 200 people watching, which used to mean, like, after your stream was done, that's going to be about 10,000 people. Now it's like 4,000. So, I mean, it's... I don't know. There's no winning with them. Like I said, the only way that you can really be successful on this platform now is if you have members. If you have a smart way of getting memberships, and you get a lot of members, like 1,000 or 500 members, then you don't have to worry about YouTube's crazy antics. I could literally stream or play whatever game I wanted. It wouldn't matter because I'd literally have people supporting me. But, and I basically would be like, screw the algorithm because it doesn't matter because I got supporters. And we're getting there. I mean, we've got 125 members now. In order to be living comfortably on the channel, we need 350. 500 would be nice. 1,000 would be like, I could retire and do whatever I wanted. I could literally basically do an entire stream series on any game that we only did once, and it wouldn't matter because people would be supporting it. And that would make YouTube super mad, too, which I would love to see. Because they want to keep, like, lowering our views, they want to keep removing our subscribers, but they can't do anything to our members. The only way they can get rid of our members is if they label this channel completely as for kids. And they can't do that because we have racy content and we could sue them. Well, I mean, we don't have racy content, but it can be considered kind of spicy. And my lawyer said we could actually take them to court because we would be in trouble with the FTC because we have content on our channel that can't be all listed as a for kids channel because it's not appropriate for kids. So then that would cause like a huge legal headache for us, which means then in turn we could sue YouTube. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying if they tried to get us to be labeled as a for kids channel with some of the spicier teen-rated content that we've had over the years, they can't legally do it. So, ergo, we would never lose membership. So, the goal is to build as much members as possible. The more members, the better the channel works. Yeah, exactly. That's why we're general audience. And this was kind of like the headache that we ran into last night. The reason why I couldn't do Monster Hunter, not only was I having like breathing difficulties, which may have been brought on by the stress from talking to my network yesterday. But yeah. Just like some stuff that YouTube was trying to do. They were trying to label a bunch of our like Disney Infinity videos as 4K IDS, which then would have triggered the entire channel to be labeled as such. Yesterday. Within a 24-hour period, yeah. I told their network to stand down. Because I don't give them legal permission to change my videos. They thought about doing that. Because they're being leaned on. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like we're... Like, there's no managed channels on YouTube anymore, so there's no... Well, no, there is some, but I'm not gonna do that whole Mr. Beast thing where I sell my channel to somebody and let them be the owner of it. That's crazy. Not gonna happen. So yeah, I was under a lot of stress, we'll say, but... I'm doing much better today, so I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter. I'm gonna be hunting 2 monsters at once tonight, which is gonna be pretty cool. And also, we lost a very big video yesterday, or not yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. So in their infinite wisdom, our network had us basically do this thing where they wrote this kind of rude email to the Namco Japan, who sees like a bunch of SAO videos that were high earners. And I mean, this is a problem I have with American networks. When we were with like networks in Hong Kong and Sweden and the UK, I feel like they're more professional when it comes to working with copyright companies. Americans are just very rude, yeah. And the email that I got back from Namco of Japan, they're basically like, it's our property, we're going to do what we want, and if you dispute it again, we're going to give you a copyright strike. And now with copyright strikes on YouTube, you can't live stream for a week, you can't upload, and you can't monetize for a week. So it's like you know, and they're trying to tell me, oh, we're going to dispute this again. It's like, no, you're not. And from now on, it's like, if it's a Japanese company, I'll speak to them, because you don't do that. So I'm worried about some of the other disputes that we've done. The network was helping with some other stuff, but yeah, it just, so I mean, there's a ton of crap that I'm dealing with behind the scenes that you guys have no idea. Like, I'm almost wondering if it would have been better to, aside from, I mean, yes, they did get back some videos through fair use or whatever, but in order to look at certain Japanese games, according to Japanese fair use law, which I know, you have to have license permission to do a bunch of stuff. And since they went ahead and they flagged, I don't know, I think it was like 3 or 4 of our high-earning SAO videos that were getting hundreds of thousands of views a month, which they still are, we're just not making a dime on anymore. The way they wrote out that email, I mean, I'm not the most intelligent person, but I viewed that email that they wrote as kind of being like very threatening. Like, you release this, or, you know, this is going to impact how other people use your property. That to me sounds like a threat. And so the Japanese company, usually a normal dispute process is like 2 or 3 weeks with Japan. I knew there was a problem when I just disputed what they told me to say on Friday, and then by Sunday night, I had an email from Namco Japan. I was just like, holy cow. Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't talk to Japanese companies that way. It feels like it's just a generic message that they use for all types of copyright that they do, but you don't do that with Japan. That's like, you know, declaring war and stuff. They're very honorable people, and also you don't speak rude to them, because that's like, in certain cultures, like certain ways of speaking and body language is considered very offensive. I feel like that letter that was very generic that American companies would write to copyright holders is very bad in terms of how Japanese companies viewed it. And we almost got a copyright strike because of it. So not only did I lose a high-earning SAO video, but you know, my reputation is... I've never had a relationship with Namco Japan, though. I work with Namco America and Canada. But yeah. it does put me on their radar now when the next SAO game comes out. Like, they could probably, because we're not a managed channel anymore, which apparently is one of the reasons why our network was closed down to begin with, is because you, by law, aren't allowed to have managed channels anymore. So we were managed for 15 years on YouTube. It's part of the reason why we never had any copyright problems. But our network, in their infinite wisdom, the one that got terminated by YouTube, they had some managed partners in there that broke terms of service, and it ruined it for everybody. So everybody was out of a job. And then I had to go to this American network that they only have YouTube partners that have millions of subscribers. So we're the smallest partner there with 500,000 something. So we're like we're the tiny mouse of their network. And they only have big dogs in there. So it's like maybe they're used to getting their way with stuff because of like how big the partners are. And I heard like one of the partners of, like, I think he has like 3 or 4 million subscribers. He's one of the people that has like a big stock in the company. So it kind of falls back to that whole thing where I don't like going to YouTube networks where YouTubers who aren't very smart and just have like big followings are in charge of the network behind the scenes, because they make a lot of stupid decisions. So that's always seemed to backfire because they don't take the time to learn YouTube's terms of service. They think because they have a huge audience, they can get away with murder in a sense, and they end up like getting their networks terminated because they're stupid. And apparently that's what's going on with this network, is supposedly behind the scenes there's a very big YouTuber that is calling the shots for a lot of stuff, and it's kind of like a puppet network. So that's kind of terrifying to think about, because I've been involved with networks like that, and they've all been terminated eventually because they're stupid. You want to have people that know what they're doing. Like, I could run a network because I understand what to do. I went to certification stuff for it. I've worked very closely with Travis. I worked with Freedom in the beginning. So, you know, I know what I'm doing. I'm not just like a YouTuber pretending to be like a network person. I could actually do it. And I'm still tempted to get my own CMS, but the only problem with doing that is your YouTube channel suffers, because it would become my job. I'd have to deal with partners. I'd have to deal with all kinds of stuff. Also, I'd have people yelling at me and stuff like that all the time, because I'm not a nice person. I expect people to follow the rules, and if you don't do it, you get the boot, or stricter penalties, all kinds of stuff. And so I don't think I could do it. But if I had my own thing and I was just running Amber and myself and like maybe a few channels, I think it'd be fine. And who knows? Maybe we'd grow, maybe we wouldn't. But at least I wouldn't have to worry about, in the back of my mind, that somebody's going to do something stupid and I'm going to have to look for another network again. Because this March, when I left the network I was within for 8 years, I had 350 videos claimed, and we lost at least 10% of our income. So... yeah, at least 10%, because the SAO videos were high earners, the Lego Batman 2 videos were high earners, and the Disney Infinity ones not so much anymore. But a lot of the anime games, like the SAO stuff in general, was getting us a lot of money. So it was kind of like, you know, it was a little annoying. But I managed myself, Travis. You guys haven't met TJ, but TJ is one of our guys. He's very good at licensing and stuff like that too. So we've, on our own, without our network's assistance, we've managed to get back 150 videos on this channel. Won those disputes. Didn't even have to dispute. We actually contacted the company, spoke to them. I spoke to some people over the phone in the US and Canada for Namco, Sega, Nintendo, and other things. And then Warner Brothers, I've been working with Warner Brothers for the 01 channel that had 200 videos claimed. So, I mean, it was a lot of videos in general. So March was a bad income month, because I know it looks like we have a lot of videos, but not every single one of them makes money. So there was a lot of stress I was under. I'm doing better now. My team is working really well. TJ is a miracle. Travis is doing what he can. And I have some calls coming up with some companies. I can't say the name because I'm still working with agreements with them, but they were some videos that were definitely some high earners on this channel. So I have to take care of that before the end of the month and into May. That's going to be a lot of work. But yeah, see, I'm smart enough to run my own network. I could do it. I need to be given the opportunity. That's why I don't like it when people who aren't as worthy as me are able to get more breaks than I do, and then they blow it, and they impact other people's jobs. Like, I could literally do it if I had the opportunity to, and I could be very successful at it. But YouTube won't give me a shot, so that's super annoying. Because basically, how this works in life, if you're a successful YouTuber, they count that as subscribers. So if I had like 1 million or 2 million subscribers, they'd probably be like, you want to start your own network? Sure, we'll help you. But it's like, you only have 500,000 subscribers and you're only getting a few thousand views of videos. So it doesn't matter if you have almost 9,000 videos and you're earning about this much a month. You don't look like you're hot stuff, so no. We're going to give it to so-and-so who does coke on the side and, you know, is kind of an idiot. But he has 7 million followers, so yay. That's what I hate about the game of life. The game of life sometimes sucks. So. But there's other ways to win at the game of life. Sometimes. Sometimes. Marrying your best friend is definitely one of the ways of winning life. So. And that was the smartest thing I ever did. But I would like to be more successful as a YouTube entrepreneur person. But there was one point that I actually thought about taking up Mr. Beast on his offer to sell channel stuff, but then I looked into what it really is, and it's like, no, that's stupid. I would not do that. It's a cool idea, but they're trying to sucker people into basically owning you, telling you what to do, and then when you kind of get tired of changing who you are to make your numbers better, and you want to leave, like, they can do all kinds of bad stuff to you to prevent you from, especially if you have a character you created. You couldn't take that character you created or your online personality you made for your YouTube videos or Twitch or whatever. If a company owns you, they own that character. So, you know, you have to be very careful. I'm not a character, so, but at the same time, I wouldn't want, that's my wife and my life work. I don't want to sell it to somebody. Just to get, like, I don't know. It's basically like getting a sign-in bonus from a network. Even if he offered me $1 million, I don't think I'd do it. Because I wouldn't really be able to work on YouTube again if, like, something happened between me and, you know, the person who bought the channel. And $1 million doesn't last that long. Especially when you have as much, like, medical and other debt that I have. Like, it would cost almost half of that $1 million just to pay off all my debts. So. Just gonna keep plugging away and see what happens. That's all you can do. That's all you can do in life is you just pick yourself up and you keep going. But people need to really read the fine print when people offer. If something sounds like it's too good to be true, it usually is. That's why you gotta be smarter than the smarties and tougher than the toughies. Or you're gonna end up, you know, fumbling in the game of life. And getting taken advantage of people who are trying to prey on you. So, gotta be careful. That's kind of my TED Talk. I don't know. But yeah, I got a crazy month ahead of me. And still really no new games. Pokemon Snap comes out on the 30th. And I think there's DLC in Phoenix Rising, which kind of did okay. I mean, I like that game. I think it was kind of fun. But I can't really think of any other new things coming out. That Ace Attorney collection based on a Phoenix Wright game that never released in the States. Although technically it did. They had a, what do they call it? They had a fan translation for it. And they had a whole website dedicated to it. I remember it. Where you could go, it was 2 games. Takes place 100 years after Ace Attorney. That's why I kept asking Amber if it was Apollo Justice, because that was a collection that was leaked last year. That was the one that they said, hey, we're going to, according to Capcom's like release window or whatever, it was Ace Attorney Apollo Justice Collection HD for Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh no, the collection that we're really releasing is just 2 games, and it's not even in English. I mean, it is in English, but you know what I mean. Whereas the Apollo Justice series was already translated in English. It had English voice acting, and it feels like Capcom was kind of stamping their feet and being mad that it got leaked, and now they're not going to release it until years from now. Which they've actually done in the past. When a game has been leaked that's coming out, either the game never releases, like Mega Man Online or Mega Man Legends 3, then they just cancel the project outright, or they release it like several years later. So I don't think the Apollo Justice thing is going to release until, as far as the collection, I would probably say 2022, 2023. And they're just releasing a Phoenix Wright type game this summer. But it's not the one we were supposed to get. It's not the one people wanted. So Capcom tends to do that. Japanese developers in general sometimes do that. They don't like when their properties get leaked. They get really mad. And they also get very suey. Is suey a word? I might have just made a word up. I like it. So that's what they do. They get sue happy. They don't like leakers. But I think Amber and I are still going to play the Ace Attorney game that takes place 100 years in the past of, you know, the Phoenix Wright series. It looks interesting. So that's something you can count on this summer. I just hope that people watch it and that YouTube doesn't, like, lower views based on, you know, if a stream we didn't do very well. And that's the great thing about Ultimates and members, though, is because it doesn't matter. Thanks to you guys, I'm proud to say that probably of this channel now, at least 15% of our income now is members. Like, almost. Only about 50% now is based on... Well, no. Yeah. 50% is more or less one type of ad revenue, and then another percent is something else. So before we used to be 100% ad revenue and nothing else. And over the years, that's changed dramatically. That's why I'm saying that I see ad revenue going bye-bye, because even big YouTubers I know that have millions of subscribers told me that they have a very bad CPM. Their ad revenue is not what it used to be either. So I see YouTube basically saying ad revenue is gone and we're going to do a paid-for service, or we're going to do memberships. Like, YouTube will give you an option. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying from a marketing point of view, like, this is how I see things going. They'll offer people, like, some options. Either you join YouTube Red, or if you are a member of a channel, then you have access to all of YouTube for, like, I don't know, 6 or 12 months. And then if you are a YouTube Red person, you have access to YouTube Red, but you're going to have to pay, like, additionally to watch a YouTuber. So the best way to really do YouTube, which people don't really like to support people, would probably be becoming a member. And then you would have access to certain stuff. I see them doing that because they're basically using Twitch as an example and some other streaming sites that are paid-for sites. And also, did you know that YouTube's job is supposed to actually get ad revenue for channels? Like, they're supposed to go and talk to companies and try to appeal to advertisers, and they don't do that anymore. Like, Susan is really bad at her job. Like, the lady who's in charge of YouTube sucks at her job. The people that we had during the whole Viacom years and stuff like that are very good at actually talking to advertisers and advertisers bringing money into the platform. Susan is more worried about hitting check marks and being inclusive and all this other stuff. And I can tell you something for a fact, because I'm a small channel, it doesn't matter. They've released a new survey that is going to heavily impact your YouTube channel if you basically say stuff wrong to it or you basically admit to being a white male or straight or whatever. So pretty much when that survey comes, just say, if you're a YouTuber like in our position, just write you're unsure about everything. Because they're going to impact your algorithm based on if you don't hit any of those check marks. I'm not lying either. Like, it's already happened to a bunch of YouTubers, like the past couple weeks that have signed up the survey, that have noticed like a drastic drop in their channel views, subscriptions, algorithm, everything, because they filled out the little survey honestly, and YouTube screwed them over. Now, what YouTube wants to do is basically they want to put like people of color and things like above everybody else. Doesn't matter if they're like less talented than everybody, just because of their skin color and their you know, sexual preference, they're better than everybody else now. And that's what the survey does. So if the survey comes and you have a channel that has like 100,000 subs, 500, a million, whatever, don't really fill it out. Just like be very vague about everything. Like, you have to be, because if you don't, you're going to be, you know, messed up. And then I got an email from them. They're like, oh, thank you so much for filling out the survey. So you're unsure of, you know, what you identify of? And it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm unsure that your survey is legitimate and that you're basically screwing people over. So don't send me these surveys. I wrote back to them. I said, don't send me these surveys. This has nothing to do with my job. This has nothing to do with, you know, our brand. And, you know, this is wrong to do. I opt out of these surveys. I don't want them. So, I thought about posting the survey on YouTube, or not YouTube, on Twitter, so people can see it. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty bad. The fact that it says in fine print that it affects, like, the algorithm for your channel and, like, who they put over you and stuff like that, that's insane. That can't be legal. So, but hopefully I don't get any more crazy surveys, because I told them I don't want another one. Well, it did. It said, are you individual creators? Are you a group? Are you a brand? Are you a business? So, yeah. This is insane. All right, let's get a new group in. What time is it anyway? It's 9:25. Still early. Still early for Harley Quinn. But yeah, I just think, like, morally it's wrong for them to even have a survey like that. But it's kind of interesting that they're not really... So they're basically, they're more interested in putting out a survey like that than actually helping YouTubers and all this other stuff. Like, they just care about trying to get people to pat them on the back on Twitter than they actually are their own, you know, YouTube partners. In fact, did you guys know there's a lot of people that are heavily impacted from the whole COPPA law from a couple years ago? And YouTube had a trust fund for all these channels that were impacted. There was about 15,000 channels that were heavily impacted that lost their income. And YouTube, I still have the letter, because we were considered part of that channel that they were trying to label us as 4Kids in 2019. But thanks to a rebranding of the channel, we were able to get past that. But in the letter, they said they were putting together a trust fund to help, like, channels that they couldn't monetize, and they were going to do a way to monetize channels on the YouTube Kids app. I'm not going to say the political party they did, but we'll just say there was a bunch of people wilding out in the streets a couple years ago, and that trust fund money went to that organization. So it was supposed to go all over the world to YouTubers who were impacted by the COPPA law. People that were family-friendly channels, people that did puppeteering, people that did whatever, and YouTube literally donated it was like $5 million. They donated to an organization I'm not going to say the name of, that may or may not have been breaking the law. So, and most of those channels are completely bankrupt now, because they were counting on basically getting a few $1,000s from that fund that YouTube was creating for, or not creating, they didn't create it, they made it for that group, and then they used that money to donate to a bunch of organizations that weren't the people impacted. So they basically used money that they weren't supposed to. Now, in my book, that would be considered fraud, and more people should do something about it. But the thing is, the family-friendly channels know about it, and they still haven't taken YouTube to court. So, I don't know. But like I said, because Amber and I got a lawyer right when we heard the COPPA law was going to happen, and they told us how to rebrand our channel to appease to that general audience, you know, we scooted by on the skin of our teeth with the 4Kids thing because we were almost ruined. But the rebranding helped majorly. And that's why we have like all the cool 80s stuff and things like that, kind of trying to show our age. We have like different opening music. That's why the intro was scrubbed. Because I even told some people, because I used to be tight with a lot of the really big family friendly channels, like people in the millions of subscribers. They were, especially some people in Pakistan and Hong Kong, were banking on YouTube to actually support them. And I was like, you can't expect YouTube to help you out with that. You're never going to get this money that they've, bragged about. They're going to give it away to some organizations that are more important than you. And that's exactly what they did. And these were people in foreign countries that started family-friendly content 12 years ago. And because of the U.S. law, they lost their business. I mean, that's heartbreaking to me. But they couldn't change their branding because they literally had a mission statement on their channels that they made content for kids. And when you did that, you're done. Now, the only reason we survived is my lawyer said Amber and I were smart. We never addressed in our videos boys and girls, kids. We always said gamers. And so that was the loophole. So we made videos for gamers. Didn't matter what we played stuff for gamers. So ergo, if we were brought into a court of law and put on the stand, and our channel, which they're still evaluating, by the way, it's going to take them 50 years because we have almost 9,000 videos, and they got interns watching our videos, writing down stuff we've said. Our lawyer was joking around that it would take them about 15 to 20 years for them to actually go over every single video. And they can't because we release so many videos a month. We're going to hit 9,000 uploads, or 9,000 videos in total on this channel by September of this year. There will be over 9,000 videos. And then we can bring back the 9,000 joke that we used to do. The Vegeta thing. Because it will actually be prevalent again because we'll have over 9,000 of something. I know it's silly, but I find that kind of hilarious. I always like to do the 9,000 thing. So we'll have 9,000 videos in September. Even if you were the most dedicated fan, which I'll tell you this, government employees are not. I'm not to diss government employees, but they don't necessarily work as hard as the private sector. So these people going over our videos and other family-friendly channels or ex-family-friendly channels, general audience channels, trying to gotcha, FTC trying to gotcha people. It would literally take you to go over every single one of our videos before you could take us to court. About 50 years, give or take, if you watched about 100 videos a day, almost. Like, you would have to watch a lot of videos and basically document everything we said. And there are bigger channels than us that they're trying to get, but I'm just telling you what my lawyer told us, is it would take a very, very long time for them to, take us to court on our content. Because by law, they have to look at everything we've ever done. Yeah. So, that fun stuff is happening on the side, too, that I learned about. It was like, why are we even being evaluated? It's like basically being audited. So... Apparently, I've made a lot of enemies somewhere. But it's like, good luck. It's going to take you a long time. I wish you well. Also, stay hydrated, person watching these videos. And, remember to eat every once in a while. Also, don't fall asleep watching the videos because I'll quiz you on things if you put me on the stand because I remember a lot of my content. Also, I can always do the thing. I don't recall. Would you mind picking up... did you actually make a time code for where that was? Because I'm pretty sure I never said that. So, have fun. And the thing is, those like little companies, they're not going to hire, they outsource. So they're not going to hire like a group of people to go through the videos. They're not going to be like hundreds of thousands of people or we'll say like 15, 20 people. They got like 1 or 2 people like going over videos. That'd take them a long time if they stick with it. I mean, yeah. So I'm really glad that we have like a massive catalog. But at the same time, our new network is kind of like, you have too many videos, so it's like YouTube doesn't like you. It's like, so I don't care. YouTube can cry for all I care. It doesn't matter. There are channels that have way more videos than we do. We only have close to 9,000. And that's over the course of, how long have Amber and I been doing this? Oh, wait, that's almost 15 years. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's like, what? That's what a Let's Play or a gaming channel does, is they release a lot of videos. Vloggers release like 1 or 2 vids. So, yeah, that's the inner world behind the scenes of K-Wing stuff. And I also have somebody who's trying to cancel us over things I've said on my Twitter or something like that. I'm part of like some website where people are trying to get me off YouTube. Trying to call advertisers that I've worked with in the past and things like that. Just trying to get our shadow banned, things like that. I found out about it from, I'm not going to tell you the developer, but it's somebody I work closely with. They said, we got an interesting call from this one organization that says that you're blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you know me, dude, so what do you say? He says, I just told him to F off. So I was like, thank you, I appreciate that. He says, yeah, I know you and Amber. He says, you guys, you make good stuff. I was like, thank you, appreciate that. It's like, you gotta stick to your guns, like with the cancel culture crazies. Because they're out for blood. They would kill you if they could. If they could get away with it, they would just, find somebody they didn't like, kill them, and get away with it. That's where we're at. So. It feels like, yeah, that's what cancel culture is building to, like being able to do like purging of people. It's honestly, yeah. Because, I mean, it's not just like shaming people on social media either. They get people fired. They get people to like Minecraft themselves in real life, like self-Minecraft. It's almost like a cult practice. It's not like, now they're calling it accountability culture, and it's like, you can call your little cult whatever you want. You're basically trying to rub people out. You're no different than organized mafia in the 1940s and 50s. You're basically criminals. Criminals and bullies. You just, you have protections so far. Well, I was also quoting what this game developer told me. Like, Amber and I don't... we don't speak R-rated in real life, but everybody we know does. So, like, it's normal for these game developers to not really have the type of decorum that we do. But I found it very interesting that our name ended up on a list of websites that people are trying to get, like, permabanned from YouTube. So, yeah. I think deplatforming is wrong unless somebody has literally done something bad. I don't think deplatforming works based on something you've said on social media, because everybody is a clown on social media. Like, everybody says really mean, rude things, no matter who you are. That's what social media is. People think that they have like kind of the shield of being anonymous online. And that what they say doesn't really have any impact in real life. But the fact that social media has able to grow in the way that it did, and the fact that they're literally destroying people now, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, but most developers I know all over the world, they speak like that. So I was just paraphrasing. I don't speak like that. But there was no other way to say it, what he said. I was just surprised. I was just surprised because, I mean, that guy who knows me, who works with, like, he's a very, very big game developer. When he told me that they heard from, like, a bunch of these clowns, like, trying to deplatform us and tell them to basically flag our videos because we are toxic and... the K-Wings are bad. Yeah, yep. That was yeah, the Mander woman thing gets brought up. There's at least like 6 or 7 organizations that are gunning for us. Like small grassroots like social justice crazies. Um but yeah, they've gone so far as to actually contact developers now. I've heard back from at least one developer so far, and they told me that nothing's going to happen because we actually know you and Amber in real life and we've worked with you. Now, the problem with some of the companies that I currently work with is they're a bunch of new people. So, I'm just now establishing relationships with some of these new companies of things that my friends built. Like I'm not going to say the name of the company, but there's so much that I'm dealing with behind the scene that sometimes it's hard to just like play games and just be like, my job is so fun. Now it's like I gotta constantly be watching my back. I have to keep my ears open to more than just like really good industry Batman stuff because, people are insane. And you can quote me on that. They're cults. This is what cults do. So it's interesting that Amber and I would be considered like I can't even say it because it's laughable and I mm, Amber's talking to me. You guys can't hear her. No, it's fine. All right, we have a very small house, so I can hear Amber all the way upstairs. Well, I mean, we're very blunt and honest in the things that we say. Like, if it talks like a duck, it looks like a duck, it's a duck type of mindset. So, yeah, I'm not going to tell you the website there is, but they've basically cataloged everything we've said from our Injustice videos, and they reached out to NetherRealms. I haven't heard back from NetherRealms yet, but pretty much this really obsessed ex-fan, who they've made very clear that they're an ex-fan of ours, has categorized everything that we said from our Injustice videos, including the Mander Woman stuff, and they're trying to get NetherRealms to deplatform us and flag every single Injustice video we've ever done, as well as get all of our Injustice videos removed, or for NetherRealms to give us a strike, so that they can pull us off the internet because we said inappropriate things based on gender. And I'm just like, wow. Some people have a lot of free time on their hand. Because they don't this little cult, like their philosophy is because we said something and because we don't adhere to their personal beliefs, we need to be canceled because we're not the same as them, therefore we're a danger to society. It's like, this is why I honestly believe that the way that stuff is going, that these people are going to literally start to off people. Like, I think they are deranged lunatics, and that this is just, like, the beginning of it. Like, they're insane. And I wish that, YouTube and some of these other organizations would find ways of protecting people. Because, I mean, they're trying to dox us. They're trying to do all this other stuff, find where I live. And it's like, if people don't think that's a dangerous thing, they're kind of, like, crazy. So. Talks and walks like a duck and might be a goose. I don't see how. Gooses and ducks look different. I've actually gone to ponds and feed ducks and gooses. Or geese. And they, I even know the difference between a swan, a duck, a goose, and there's another type of bird that usually hangs out in ponds at parks. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I've never seen an instance where a duck sounded like a goose or a goose looked like a duck. That's just my experience. Maybe, I guess if you live near a nuclear power plant and it's mutated, then yeah. I could see that as a possibility, but normally, no. I don't agree. Yeah, I've been attacked by a duck. It wasn't a goose. I've told you guys this story, right, before? Um, I was a little crazy, so I was obsessed with this character, Wu Fei, from Gundam Wing. This is a true story. And we had a duck pond at a park where I lived. Actually, it was a park that Amber and I used to date, do like, park dates. This is before I met Amber. This was during the height of Gundam Wing, Gundam fan fiction, and also I was writing fan fiction for Gundam Wing, but I wasn't writing like Hiro and Relina or Troa and Katra or whatever her name was, the girl from the circus. I wasn't writing like romance fan fiction. I was writing like parody fan fiction that was just crazy. So in it, I characterized Wu Fei, who is the pilot of Nataku. He's a very serious, like, kind of Asian martial arts character. I made him kind of aloof. And I took his catchphrase, Injustice, and I just had him randomly run into rooms screaming Injustice. So, as a basis for that, I wanted to test out the absurdity of that. So I went to the park where I was feeding the ducks, and I quoted Wu Fei. I said, fighting such a weak enemy leaves me feeling so empty afterwards. So I said, feeding weak ducks makes me, feel so weak afterwards. So I screamed at the ducks, "Get out of my sight, you weaklings!" And the ducks did fly away, and then they flew back at me, and I had to run away. So I don't know necessarily if I got attacked by the ducks, but they did chase me, and I had to run back to my car. So that was kind of a crazy moment. And I then incorporated that into the, parody fanfic I was writing for Gundam Wing. I'm not going to tell you what my alias was when I used to write, like, anime fanfics. This was back when Excel Saga and School Rumble was a thing. So there were different websites where you could go and write different anime things. So I wrote a bunch for Gundam Wing, Yu Yu Hakusho, and they were basically inspired by the crazy parodiness of Excel Saga. So, yeah. But I've never seen ducks fly so fast. It might be why I kind of have misgivings of feeding ducks, is because I don't think they appreciated the loud noise and they kind of came after me. So, but it was at the time it was terrifying, but the friends that I told it to, they thought it was funny, so I figured, I don't know what would have happened if the ducks caught me. I don't, maybe there would have been enough of them to, like, kind of pick me up on my book bag and fly me off somewhere and dispose of me or something, but there was about 15 ducks, and I can still hear the flapping of the wind, the wings, so, but yeah, I did that. That was funny. Did I ever get noticed when I wrote fanfics? I had a pretty popular screen name back then. I had at least, like, according to that website, it was like animefanfics.com, or I'm trying to remember the name of it, but they said I had like 2,000 subscribers, and my stuff had been read, like, before YouTube 15,000 times or something like that, 20,000. I was like 50th on that website, and it had, like, all kinds of popular fan fiction. It's not there anymore, I don't believe. I think the pen name I used for the Gundam Wing was Shimigami. Might have been 84 or 83. Shinigami 83, I think, which is the god of death. is what it would be translated to. And I wrote, like, really crazy fan fiction, like parody style. I didn't write romance stuff because I did not have a very good romantic life until I met my wife. Like, it was bad. So I would write things that I found humorous. So That was a long time ago. I was on that website, and that's kind of, I guess you could say that's kind of how I decided to, because I'd been writing fan fiction from, which I didn't want people to know because, I mean, that's super otaku. That shows you how obsessed with anime I've always been. But I wrote fan fiction from 1997 until 2002. But the last thing I wrote was the Gundam characters were on a, like, how do I explain this? And I always pictured the characters in super deformed style when I wrote my fiction stuff. So they were super deformed, and the last one, they were kind of like at a game show. It was kind of like the Family Feud. You had the colonists versus the Earth Gundam people. And I only wrote 2 or 3 chapters of it, and then I got writer's block, and I dropped it. And I always had all these people telling me to finish it, and eventually I just stopped going to the website. The website shut down, or it merged with another website by like 2005 or 6. And I don't know. I never really did that. But because I had been so used to writing, that's kind of how I turned my side project to writing game reviews on GameFAQs. And I have some? No, I don't think I have any left. I think after a while, your account eventually gets like erased if you're not active with it. So my original account that I use for my GameFAQs, like actually publishing my facts, is not there. Or it needs to be reactivated, and I don't have the email that I used like 20 years ago. But I had written at least 35 GameFAQs for like retro games, like actual walkthroughs. But how my style was different than a lot of other people is I used humor, and I had, this is really stupid, but I used to have like a little character that was kind of like the narrator for the walkthrough. So it wasn't necessarily just, it was a walkthrough. It was, you had pictured like this little anime character or video game character that was kind of like, what's his name? I based him on this Nintendo Power character from the 80s and 90s. In that style of speaking, like when I wrote my walkthroughs. I think it was Nestor. I think that's what his name was. I can't remember though. But that's basically, so I wrote my game walkthroughs, which made me stand out from the other people, in kind of like a third person point of view, but with like a little character describing the events to people. So it made it fun. It wasn't just like, okay, this is just information, you read it, and, you know, I wanted to make my writing fun. And that's how I wrote my GameFAQs for, you know, a while on the side. I thought about writing comic books at one point when I was really young, but I needed money, and I didn't like leaving my house very much. So I found a job online writing for publication. Publication was gaming. And that's kind of, you know, the GameFAQs and the fan fiction all kind of led to, I guess, the writing experience I needed to be a decent journalist. I don't know. I mean, everybody I worked with in the game industry, like the different publications I moonlighted for and things, they liked my writing style. And Amber helped me kind of incorporate my writing style into my speaking style for reviews. When she used to, like, fine-tune my review scripts for when I was doing YouTube videos. Like when, you know, early, like 06, 07, 08, 09. But I still never really was able to get my video reviews to be the same as, like, my walkthroughs that I wrote for GameFAQs and later GameSpot. I think it was GameSpot. I don't remember. They merged. GameFAQs used to be its own thing, and then it merged with GameSpot, and then GameSpot was bought by another company. They're still GameSpot, but they're not. They're owned by like some big corporation, just like IGN is. So you'd actually be surprised to know how many publications IGN owns. There's quite a few. The first one was 1UP. I knew a lot of good people that worked at OneUp.com. I actually had Amber and I might never have done YouTube because I had a opportunity to do OneUp.com and be like not necessarily an editor, but it would have been a better paid like writing position. And I kid you not, like a week and a half later, while I was interviewing for this job, IGN bought OneUp and folded OneUp into IGN, and I didn't get the job, obviously. But I was this close to working for OneUp, and I really, really liked them. They were a good group of guys. They were really fun. So, you know, like I said, luck has never been something I've had a lot of abundance of. Only one thing made me lucky, and that was Amber. Like, marrying my college sweetheart and still being married to her is the biggest blessing. Work-wise and YouTube never really goes the way I want it to. Whether it was not getting the job at OneUp, and then years later when I had the opportunity to work for IGN and head their IGN Start team, or at least be a big part of it, Maker Studios said they were going to sue me, and I wouldn't be allowed to make YouTube videos for a year if I went to IGN. I'd have to come up with a whole new persona. That's how I know all this stuff about Persona. Maker Studios / Disney tried to sue me when I left Maker Studios, and they tried to claim me as a character, and I won because... And I didn't go to court. It never got to court. But the reason why I won their argument is because I never set out to make a character, and I wasn't. So they couldn't say that Nightwing 01, like Disney and Maker Studios couldn't say that me, Luke K-Wing, was a character on YouTube. Like, the Game Grumps are characters. Or, you know, the Completionist would be a character. Stuff like that. It's really me, not like a persona. So I was able to leave Maker Studios without being sued. And, which I wasn't voiding my contract either. That's the thing. My contract was up in like 3 months. And my job at IGN was going to start... pretty soon, and IGN wanted me to start then, and I'd already been with the company, and I wasn't going to renew with Maker Studios because they were already doing a bunch of really shady stuff, which is all in my book that I'm still writing. But they were siphoning our income, which, if you know what that means, they were basically taking a huge percentage of our income. I'll just be completely honest with this. I was only making like $2,000 a month with Maker Studios when our videos were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and a YouTuber getting hundreds of thousands of views back in 2011 on, like, we'll say like 100 videos a month or whatever, that would be probably $15,000 back then. We were getting $2,000 flat. When we left Maker Studios and we went to Travis's network, this was years ago, so it doesn't matter. But I called up Travis and I was angry because I saw that after, you know, joining with his network, we were still making the same amount with Maker Studios. It said 2,000. And Travis told me, he says, all right, he says, calm down, Mr. K-Wing. Let me explain this to you. That thing that you're seeing in your data, he says, that is how much you've made after the first week being with me. And I literally had my jaw drop, and I was like, well, how is that possible? I'm still getting the same amount of views, and I'm still, you know, averaging about like 20, 30, 40, 100,000 views a video that we upload for Lego games or whatever, and Maker only paid me this much. He's like, yeah, they were siphoning your income, dude. He says, they were literally taking your money, and they were distributing it to other Maker partners. And we have proof of this, by the way. So, when I was there for a full month, and I saw how much we actually made, this was, you know, 10 years ago. Nobody makes this anymore. And this was all based on ad revenue because Travis was very good at his job. Travis would actually talk to advertisers, and we had companies investing into our videos. We had deals with Walmart. We had Best Buy. We had Toys R Us. We had companies that were literally coming to our network because Amber and I were there. That's what YouTube is supposed to do with their ad revenue. Is they're literally they're supposed to go and be like, look, these are the people we have on YouTube. What type of ad deal can you give us? Like, what type of you know, ad sales can we get? And YouTube's not doing that anymore. They've completely lost their way of making money, and they're more worried about appeasing non-talented people that, you know, just meet their whatever quota is for basically token whatever. Token people. So, yeah, it was... It was crazy. Like, the first paycheck I got was working with Travis, like, without a company siphoning our income and taking a huge percentage of our money. Like, I cried because I had been with Disney for almost 2 years. We had been living in a really horrible environment, barely able to pay the bills, and Amber was, you know, out working in the real world. And I felt like such a failure as a husband because I was, you know, being disabled. I couldn't really leave the house and stuff like that, right? So to see how much we were actually making back then, I don't know. I finally felt like, oh my gosh, life is finally starting to actually work out for me. And of course, that didn't last long. But we were able to live in Boston. We had a wonderful place we lived. I was able to move across the country based on how high our income was. And everything was great. And then when YouTube stopped the ad revenue, or rather they found ways of cutting it, that's when our life like just started to go again. Because, yeah, they cut it. They cut our income in half, and then they did the whole COPPA thing, and then we dropped another percentage. And it's just like... it's insane. If it wasn't for the actual members of the channel now, which cycle back to that, I mean, the channel would be dead. Like, if YouTube, which I know they legally can't do, but if they found a way to shut off, like, memberships for certain channels, like, those channels would be toast. And I'm not going to name the channels. There's at least, right now, that I know of, probably a good several thousand channels that I know, that the YouTube memberships, the Super Chats, YouTube Red, or YouTube Premium now, whatever it's called, all these factors are keeping these guys afloat too. So, I mean, without that stuff, everybody's kind of doomed now. And it's terrifying to think that. But the only thing I wish I did back when we were doing very well and companies were talking to us and things like that, I wish that, you know, I kind of started a Patreon before, or at least started selling merchandise, but I had to learn how to do all that stuff because no one ever helped me. Travis was, like, the most helpful individual we've ever worked with. And when we lost our favorite network where we were with Travis, like, we brought him on and some other people to, like, literally work for us as employees, and we were able to keep that up for about 3 years. And then I couldn't afford it anymore, and that was a heartbreaking moment for me, like to get rid of the staff that I built up because we did stuff that was amazing with the channel and things like that. And then when I had to let go of people, it was gut wrenching because, you know, these people were relying on you, and then you can't support them, you can barely support yourself, and you know. I don't know, if I could... People ask me all the time, like, if you could do a time machine, what would you do? If I do a time machine, I would warn myself about Maker Studios and have a plan set in motion. I might have taken the IGN job because, who knows, I might have had, like, a lot more subscribers now. Like, maybe I'd be in the millions. I don't know. I knew, like, all the up-and-coming YouTubers now that have, like, millions of subscribers. Like, I worked with them in the past. I knew them pretty well before, like, fame kind of made them loopy. So I probably, you know, would warn myself about the Maker Disney thing, have a plan for that, find, like, some type of... Because I had to learn about all the legality of things, so I'd never be, like, screwed over again. That's kind of why I took such an interest in what U.S. law with copyright and all this other stuff, is because I never wanted to be put in a position where I could be in, like, serious jeopardy again. So yeah, when it comes to my channel, I'm pretty intense, and I do things that other people don't do because I'm smarter than them, because I learned. I had to learn. If I didn't learn, then I could be a victim, and I never want to be a victim again. I never want to be caught without, you know, my pants on, so to speak, is the term, because it's a terrible feeling of, like, being helpless and stuff like that. So even now, I still learn everything I can. I learn loopholes. I learn everything that I can to survive in this crazy YouTube world. And I have a lot of contacts that tell me about what's going on so I can kind of prepare so I'm never impacted the way that most people are. Because I can't do anything else. Like, on my resume that, people have, the whole disability thing, it's going to follow me wherever I go. And, people don't, they view mental illness as kind of like you're ruined, like you're a broken person and you can't do anything. And with that on your record, it follows you. It will be there till the day I die. Like, anywhere I go to apply, like, it's going to be there. The fact that I was on SSI, that's going to be there. There's no way out of that. So if YouTube ever just, like, ceases to exist, like, say somebody, like, drops a EMP wave or something and just, like, fries technology completely. I mean, maybe it'd be good because they can't look up certain things on the computer anymore about me. But it would be very hard to get work and stuff like that, So, yeah, that's more or less the stuff that we deal with all the time. And I'm hoping someday, I'm able to start a network again, and then people can see how successful I can really be, because I would do everything that I was trained to do. I would bring advertisers into my channel. I wouldn't care about the rest of YouTube. I don't care about them. I only care about myself now. Nobody else cares about me, like, who works at the company I work for, so my job is to take care of my wife and me. So I would go and I'd get advertisers over people's backs, and I wouldn't tell them. If I had money coming in from, say, if I was able to score with Toys R Us if they were still around, I wouldn't tell any other YouTuber. I wouldn't tell YouTube either. I wouldn't tell my network. I would just do it. Or if it was my network, the worst thing you can do is share information. You'd never share information. That's what YouTubers will always tell you. You don't do it, because if you do it, you're going to impact yourself. That's why YouTubers are very guarded with their, quote, friends, is because you don't want your friends to stab you in the back. This is a very cutthroat industry. Very cutthroat. Like, people basically have walked on the corpses of other YouTubers, in a sense, to get to where they are. Like, there was someone who was bigger than them at one point, and then they transcended them, and then when that person who was bigger than them is in trouble now, they just walk over them. It's just, they completely ignore them, they erase their phone number, they ghost them at conventions. It happens all the time. Like, this business is not a friendship business. It just isn't. So, but, if I could get in the position where I could get a good person to get me ad revenue, like ad sales again, I probably wouldn't have as high perks on my memberships, because I would just be pushing what everybody pushes, the $5.99 a month or whatever. But I'm very blessed and thankful for our Ultimate members, which I have to do a cutoff soon, because I can't I can't handle the amount of people that want to do it. It's insane. I still can't believe that there are people that actually want to help us out like that. That's crazy. I wouldn't want to do that for some stranger. That's a lot, And you have like almost 15 of these people now that want to help you like that, and 3 on Patreon. It's crazy. I'm very, very appreciative of those guys, and I really hope that God blesses them a lot, because I mean I don't deserve it. But like I said, I would like to get to the point, once I get 1 million subscribers, hopefully while I still have hair and things like that, I'm going to use that 1 million subscribers to really kind of push for like more brand stuff, actual ad sales into the channel, because you can't rely on YouTube or anybody else. If you're a YouTuber, you got to find ways of pulling your own weight and stuff like that. And because you can't count on this organization, because they're not in it to make money anymore. I don't think they know how to. They've kind of gotten rid of all the people that knew what they were doing. And that's not just me being like, oh, I'm just saying this because Susan's a woman. I'm saying this because Susan's incompetent. I couldn't care less if she was a guy or a girl. She's terrible at her job. The main point of this network or the YouTube brand is to make money. It's to support the people that work for you. And the fact now that all of us, according to info that I have, we're going to actually be Google employees now, where YouTubers are subcontractors, by the way. Does anybody know what subcontractor means? Like, according to, like, what a company would consider somebody who's employed at YouTube, you're a contractor. They do that way they don't have to pay taxes. Now there's a bunch of laws that have passed since the pandemic where YouTube basically has to tell everybody, every YouTube partner that we have to take 24% of your income or 20% or 15%, whatever it is, for taxes in additional now, because we're all now employees as of, I believe the law goes in effect this September. So Amber and I are going to have another percentage of our channel taken from us, but this percentage is actually what we give away to taxes a year. So, I mean, it's finally going to kind of balance itself out a little bit, but also it's going to make things a little difficult. But that's happening pretty soon. That'll be this fall is when YouTubers are going to, maybe they'll start doing their thing where there'll be like YouTube party over and stuff like that. But in reality, it's kind of a good thing, as Travis explained it to me, because like that's what YouTube should have done years ago, because then people probably wouldn't be in tax debt to the IRS or some other. You wouldn't believe how many YouTubers are in serious legal jeopardy because of the whole subcontractor thing. Yeah, YouTubers are kind of becoming Google employees according to the U.S., like U.S. Tax laws. We're no longer subcontractors. So YouTube is going to be taking taxes from people's paychecks starting September, if the information I have is correct. And usually my contacts inside Google are 90%. 90 to 90, 89, 90% correct. Yeah, I don't know where the flip emoji is. I lost it. I don't have very good emotes for my Harley Quinn right now. I got the Raven one still, but it doesn't really work for Harley, does it? I've become the very thing I swore to destroy. Well, I'm not necessarily a Google employee though. They're changing the rules for YouTubers, like content creators, because, you know, IRS hit YouTube hard over the years, and they want, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen, but at the same time, it makes me feel a little bit better because, I mean, subcontractors, some of them do some pretty shady stuff with their taxes. I'm not going to lie. Amber and I have always been honest, and we've been kind of like, you know, royally screwed by the IRS and things like that. We were even audited once when back in 2014, I believe. We had to show proof of everything that we did on YouTube because the IRS was trying to like get us. And we had Travis help us, and we were able to, you know, we never had to go to court. Everything was fine. And we did have a proof of everything. And it was, you know, it was still when YouTube was kind of like a relatively new high income thing. So they were going after a lot of people. They went after a lot of YouTubers in 2020 too, this year, for 2020 taxes, according to a friend of mine. So some big people are in trouble for fraud or something, or they're trying to say they committed fraud. They may or may not have, but you know, unfortunately, like YouTube, Google, and the IRS are getting too far into YouTubers' business. But at the same time, people that have been struggling with things and have always wanted to have Google take stuff out of your taxes like it's a job, now supposedly that'll be happening, and that's kind of a good thing. Although you watch, when more YouTubers catch wind of this, you're going to see trends on Twitter and Facebook where they're making petitions, yeah, making petitions to get this kind of removed, and they can't because it's already becoming U.S. law. So I mean, but yeah, Yeah, it's also because a lot of them don't pay taxes. Exactly. Or they're paying a small percentage of taxes. Something like that. So, at least my goal is when they do this, I might actually be able to get out of tax debt to the IRS by the time I'm 42 from our high years on YouTube where we got our accountant like really messed us up bad. The guy in Boston. Yeah, he basically made us almost pay like over 3 times in our taxes what we were supposed to pay because he didn't understand our business at all and he didn't take the proper deductions and it was bad. And yeah, it's part of the reason why we had to leave Boston too is we couldn't afford it. Like and also we heard crazy things that were going to be happening with YouTube ad revenue, you could say, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. I have this weird sixth sense of when things are about to hit the fan and how to kind of like prepare for it. So, but I don't know how long that'll last. I guess I'm thankful I still have people on the inside who are able to give me the information I need. Although not so much at Warner Brothers anymore. I only have a few people left. Some of them went to... Oh yeah, I can tell you this story. So I had a very prominent Warner Brothers contact that went to Disney, and the person told me they can't talk to me anymore. So when they told me that, that made me think that in real life my name is attached to a blacklist at Disney, which would make a lot of sense because we've tried to reach out and do agreements with Disney for mobile games for like 4 years now, and like they say that they can't work with me. And I'm kind of like, okay, well, is it because of channel views? And they're like, sorry, it's like we don't have any openings. And then I hear back from a friend of mine who contacted them on the same day as me. Hours after I spoke to them, they got the job. Or they got the brand deal with Disney for like some mobile game. I think it's a mobile game with what do you call it? The sorcery stuff. The Mickey Mouse and the Mr. Incredible thing. I don't remember the name of the game, but there was a brand thing going on with YouTubers like a couple years ago. And my friend is actually still playing that game actually and still works with Disney, but my former WB contact or whatever, one of them who's at Disney says they can't work with me while they're at Disney. And I just kind of, I'm like, that's interesting. So, yeah. that makes me think that, that matches up with some things I've heard about Disney. The Maker thing. Right, but we caught them siphoning. In reality, they should be, but it's so long ago that it's hard to prove. And we don't have access to Travis's, or we don't have access to our Maker dashboard anymore, so. I don't even think that old dashboard still exists. No. It'd be interesting. I mean, they owe us a lot. That would take care of a lot of my medical and government debt if we were somehow able to get the money we were never paid from Maker. That'd put us in real good shape. I would shut up about YouTube forever. If YouTube wanted to shut me up, they could literally write me a check for $50,000. That would do it. Because that's what they owe me. That's what they owe me for my time at Maker Studios for the past, that would have been... Yeah, I would settle for that. They really owe me more, but... They owe me more, but I would settle for that. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm an honorable guy. I would settle for that. I would negotiate. I'd even take 35,000 if it came down to it. Yeah, this is a live cast. This is totes live. That's why I'm playing so badly. I don't pre-record Fortnite. It's bad gameplay with just me talking. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, so I just talk sometimes when I play Fortnite. I don't know what it is. I talk when I play Arkham games, too, because I'm just running around, and then my mind is just like... I'm not going to be talking like this during Monster Hunter, because I actually have to concentrate. I suck at this game. Like, I'm really bad. Like, there's no argument. There's no improvement. How I played in 2019 when Batman first came out, more or less is how I play here now, then, mostly. I look at skins I find interesting. I talk about the inner workings of YouTube because literally this channel is hidden from the search engine. It doesn't matter what I do. I could orchestrate plans to take down YouTube from the inside and nobody would know. Like, that's how much of a ghost I am. Like, I could talk about how I would successfully create another platform to dethrone and destroy YouTube and no one would ever see it because it doesn't matter. And it's very simple. All I'd have to do is just offer, like, their biggest partners a better deal. Because eventually they're going to run out of... They're not doing ad sales at all. Like, every network I've talked to the past 2 years has said that YouTube has stopped ad sales. And eventually their contracts are going to run up. Like, all those companies that are... They're getting mostly, like, brand deals from certain agencies. Because after 2019... They made a big oopsie when they said that they were the best place in the world for kids to watch content on. And that's how they got on the U.S. government's radar, is because of some idiot intern or... Actually, I don't even think it was an intern. I think it was actually somebody that worked in YouTube's ad sales department, who's no longer there, obviously. They were bragging to some advertiser that then talked to the FTC because they were concerned about, I don't know, some of the stuff that was happening with YouTube at the time because of ElsaGate. And it got on the FTC's radar, and then the FTC really looked into stuff, and they sued YouTube. And then YouTube, who could afford being sued, by the way, they backpedaled, and they didn't want to be on the radar because they're doing a lot of illegal things. And, you know, U.S. government hit them hard. They abided by the COPPA law, and now Susan, in her infinite wisdom, went on and did an interview recently crying and complaining how YouTube doesn't have a lot of money, because they're running out of ad revenue. They're running out of ad revenue because they're not doing their job. It's her job, yeah. It's her job. So she can get organizations that they gave money to support YouTube. That's the plan. Basically, they're trying to get like big companies to pay them money to stay afloat. They don't really want to deal with advertisers anymore. I told you, they want to become Twitch. They want to be a paid-for service. Membership's just the beginning. YouTube Red was just the beginning. They have another thing they're going to try, like, releasing either this summer or this fall. It's not going to work, because people are, you know, they view YouTube as a free thing. So it's not going to pan out. K-Wing has 3 shotguns, I know. I have 3 shotguns, I'm doing terrible. I like this shotgun, though. It looks better. Yeah, but I was even... I was joking with the new network. If I wanted to, I could leak a brand new game. Because I have access to getting new games if I want. I could break the embargo by a week, and no one would watch it. Wouldn't hit the search engine. Wouldn't matter. And the only way I'd get in trouble is if the company who I leaked said game, which I would never do. I have ethics. I'm just illustrating a point. Like, when I was talking to the network the other day about how bad our situation is here. Like, I could totally leak it, and I might get sued, yeah, but no one would ever see it. Like, it wouldn't hit the search engine or anything. Because we're basically banned from the search engine. More or less. They call it shadow banning, actually, is the correct term. Yeah, YouTube Red is still kind of a thing. It's called YouTube Premium now. Sort of. How many of you guys, like, have YouTube channels here anyway? Because I could tell you something else fun. Did you know that YouTubers actually get a cut of YouTube Premium? Like, one way people could really help a YouTuber, and this is 100% true. In the YouTuber's data sheet, right? Like our thing for full transparency that people won years ago. because YouTube wasn't showing people full transparency of earnings back in 2009, 2010, which very shady. So networks had to incorporate the analytics thing by like 2010, 2011. So anyway, speaking of that data stuff, there is a chart that YouTube has that not a lot of YouTubers have. Like YouTube has this, and it tells how much of a percentage a YouTuber makes off YouTube Red. Now, since we don't have a lot of subscribers that have YouTube Red or YouTube Premium here, we make $100 a month on YouTube Premium based on all our subscribers. That number is way lower than it's supposed to be. In reality, because we have 500,000 subscribers, if half of them have YouTube Red or YouTube Premium, which some of them probably do, then in reality we should be earning about like $3,000 or $4,000 a month just on YouTube Premium, but we're not. I don't know if it's a bug. Because YouTube ad revenue is split between actual YouTube ad revenue and then channel ad revenue, or not channel ad revenue, YouTube Premium, aka YouTube Red, and then transactions, super chats, memberships, and then there's one other revenue source that had to be incorporated, but I can't tell you the name of it because we don't have it. We weren't approved for it. We were approved through merchandise eventually. We were approved super chats eventually, and memberships we were approved much later. So, you know, we have 4 of the 5 ad revenue options on this channel. I don't think we're ever going to get the 5th one, which 5th one has to do with like I don't remember. It's some, I think it has to do with like Bitcoins or something like that. I don't know. Some type of like I don't know what that service is called. I'm not really in the know with that stuff. I don't understand how Dogecoin and Bitcoin and getting these coins and supporting your YouTube. I don't know how any of that stuff works, but apparently that's another revenue source that is in YouTube's system now, or it's in the beta or whatever. But yeah, our YouTube Red thing, YouTube only gives us $100 based on our subscribers that have it. And I know for a fact that a lot of our subscribers have YouTube Red, so we're actually supposed to have a much higher cut of that, but they don't give it to us. It might be because of the being hidden from the search engine or not being recommended to people. Like, if we didn't live stream, our videos wouldn't be recommended to anybody. If I stopped live streaming tomorrow, like, you would see this channel go overnight. Like, everything would die. Because the only reason we get recommended is because of how often we live stream. Because YouTube hasn't found a system yet that can basically be like, when Luke and Amber are live streaming, they don't have a system in place that they can basically shadow ban live streams. 100%. They can remove live views during live streams now, which is totes scary. I saw it happen on the not Heavenly Sword. What was the name of that character? The Horizon Zero Dawn. We had 200 people watching when the skin debuted, and then it would drop down to 40 people, and then it'd get to 80, and then it'd go to 40 again. And it was like deliberately they were just removing to the point where the stream didn't hit above 100 people again, like over the course of the entire stream. It was dead. And they did that live. So that was terrifying. I have screenshots. I have slides. I already gave my slides to my Google rep or Google friend to ask him what was going on with this. He's like, I mean, it doesn't look like this was a glitch. It's like, no, really? It's like, I got slides. I got proof. Because I ain't no dummy. Basically, when I was complaining about that stuff, and I quit the stream because I was pretty depressed, but I was taking pictures. Like, I was, taking pictures of the little chart here. In fact, just so Google knows, just for fun, right now on my other computer that I'm watching the chat on, I'm actually recording this, like, as a video, while the stream is going, so that I have my stream settings, or rather the analytics of the numbers of people watching, like, here. And, yeah, it hasn't dipped down today too much. But I'm literally recording this just for the sake of it. Because I can. Because I'm kind of crazy that way. I don't trust anybody. I trust subscribers and members, but I don't trust companies. I always have backup plans. I'm a planner. I have contingency stuff. Yeah, you're all being recorded. Sort of, kind of. Well, I mean, you're not speaking or anything. Like, this entire page. My dashboard, my stream setup thing. On the other computers being recorded. That way, if there's any funny business, I can show it. Because sometimes, like, people like to say, oh, you know, pictures are doctored. It's like, no, they're not doctored. I mean, you know, there's a time code for the year and things like that, so. I can't trust Ruga because Ruga's in cargo shorts, yeah. I don't trust anybody in cargo shorts. You okay, honey? Okay. Ice cream sounds good. Oh, wait, no, I don't want any ice cream. I don't know. I don't really talk about it a lot, honey. It just comes out sometimes. I don't know. I don't really want to talk to them right now. I'm very upset about the SAO blunder. I don't have any I need to wait at least 6 months. I could leave at any time, but I need I don't have a YouTube partner manager set up with the YouTube partner program yet. And also, like, I don't have a means of, like, as soon as we leave and we don't have something in place, like, this was the most videos we ever had hit, ever. You know, 400 or 500 videos is a lot of videos. And it's taken a long time. So, it's going to be at least 6 months. I'm testing the waters to see if they can improve. I mean, I complain about every group I'm with because they're not as smart as me. So, I mean, you know, smart people tend to make fun of stupid people. And stupid people tend to make more mistakes on a very easy job. And they don't course correct either when they make a mistake. So I don't want them to handle disputes like that anymore, especially for... I don't care if they want to handle disputes to American companies, but I don't want them talking to Japanese companies again. Like, that's not gonna... I guarantee you they've never spoken to Japanese companies before. So that was a bunch of bull. So I'm pretty annoyed with that. Ruga, you're not dumb, dude. You work in insurance, and now you're wheeling and... Or now you're helping out, Oh, man, I had them dead to rights. And I got hit by a car. That's always the case here. Thanks for the assist. I literally got hit by a car. Good times, good times, good times. I feel sorry for the people that end up coming here during my rants. Fortnite makes me rant. It just does. Yeah. Just because you're working in insurance doesn't make you dumb? I'm gonna disagree with you there, Ruga. I think you're a very intelligent dude. You know, I'm not saying that there aren't idiots that work insurance, but you have to have some type of... you have to have some type of smarts to work in insurance. Because insurance is all about making money. And, you know, helping people not... Well, I mean, some insurance companies really mess people up. Rants are therapeutic? Yeah. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Well, I mean, when, you know, when I'm 60 years old and they've finally finished, you know, viewing all our content, maybe. Maybe it'll get me in trouble. The thing is, if I were a company and I heard, like, someone's having... Say I worked for a company, And I hear this guy who has been like messed up by like all these corporations, and I knew that I had a case to help them win back all the money that was stolen from them. You know, I would reach out to them because also I would probably get a cut of that too. So I mean, there would actually be something in it for me. I'm always surprised when I do these. Either it's been so long and people can't do anything anymore, or like I don't have that type of reach. Like what people don't understand is me talking the way I do during my streams would be the same if I had like 60 people watching or 400. Like I don't, whatever I talk about, I talk about. Like it doesn't matter. Sometimes I randomly talk about Batman stuff. Sometimes I complain about life. Sometimes I talk about my illnesses. It doesn't matter. The stream audience doesn't necessarily depict like how I'm going to behave, but that's not how I do things. So, I had a fun message I got a while ago. Somebody saying the only reason you complain about stuff and you're bitter is because you have, you know, you don't have very much people watching you as you used to. It's like that might be a factor, but at the same time, if you go back and you watch the streams where I had lots of people watching, case in point on Twitch years ago, when I had like 1,500 people watching me do something in Disney Infinity, like I was talking about all kinds of weird stuff. Wasn't necessarily spilling YouTube's dirty laundry, but I was talking about all kinds of weird stuff. All the time. Didn't matter. And over on my Arkham streams, where I have like 2,000 people watch sometimes, I talk about all kinds of bizarre stuff. It's just how I am. I don't know. I stream for a long time. Maybe it has to do with ADD. I don't know. It just kind of comes out. Especially when I've had like, I had a friend of mine who's a really big streamer. I'm not gonna name him, but he decent sized audience. 400, 300. No, yeah, 410,000 people, roughly around there. I think is when I last saw his Twitch thing. But he told me, he says, you don't want to be grumpy or sad and stuff on Twitch when you stream because you want, you know, you got to be alive for the audience. And it's like, well, I don't do that. It's like, maybe if I acted like a, you know, kind of a nut, you know, like doing stuff that a lot of popular Twitch streamers did. But at the same time, it's not me. It's like, I don't do that kind of stuff. So, but you know, to each his own. The guy wants to do it that way, that's cool. I sit in my living room, I play games, and whatever comes to my mind, poof. And I'm really excited about playing my Monster Hunter thing. Like, I'm gonna be fighting 2 big monsters. Huh? Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tackle some stuff tonight. I plan on doing... Oh, wait. I think I have to order more soap. Forgot to order soap. I think I have enough to do like 1 or 2 loads for the dishes. I believe so. I have to check. I might have some soup tonight. Like during Monster Hunter or something like that. I'm actually kind of nervous about doing the Monster Hunter stream tonight. Because I'm going to be fighting that really scary monster again. I don't like that monster. He has like purple explosions and he's just really nasty. And I can't say his name either. Magma Mellow? Magna something? Yeah, I know, Amber. Why am I carrying gasoline? You okay? Oh, is it that stuff we talked about, or is it something else that you're not feeling well? Okay. Make sure you drink your cranberry juice. My Street Fighter shirt looks so cute on you. I'm super easily amused. But I also never forget when people burn me.
You would say that whoever you married, you'd say that.
No, I wouldn't. If I was with somebody else, I wouldn't be as open as I am. Like I would be in my little office, shut off to the world, and I think I would see my wife for like food and other stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Like once a year. Anniversary stuff. And share a meal. Maybe we'll watch like some show together, but we probably have different interests.
There's no way I could only have a hug once a year. That would be sad.
Right, a hug. That's what I was talking about. Solely talking about a hug. But no, I mean, I have you, so I'm able to be open about. I'm here in the living room where, yeah, if I cleaned up my office, I'd probably be up in my office a little bit, but the internet.
There's no lights in there. As soon as you go in there, you can't. You have to walk to the other end of the room to turn the light on. That's why this place is so stupid. That's why we've been depressed this whole time.
Well, I mean, this place was affordable
this is a
and
crappy. This is a horrible place.
yeah.
There's no light in this room.
There is no light, really. Yeah.
There is a ceiling with no light.
And they told us we could put track lighting in, and we couldn't. That's why I like this new place that we're looking at, because there's lighting all over the place.
And people are like, why aren't you doing face cam? I'll tell you why.
Uh-oh.
I'll explain why we're not doing face cam. Because we wanted to do our streaming and stuff upstairs in the office where we had all of our video games set up with our SNES Classic and our Xbox, and everything was up there. And it had a little couch, and it would have been way easier because we could have recorded everything up there, and it had better lighting because we could have 2 lamps. But no, they were like, oh, because it's Pennsylvania internet, the only place that it will actually work for the internet is in your living room. And I was like, but this is my living room. I want Luke to do his job in his job room so I can have a life in my living room. And then when they, I don't know, because we have to, the only place the internet works in the living room, and there are no lights in the living room. There are no ceiling lights.
Yeah,
So the only place the whole reason we cannot do face cam is because this apartment, this townhouse or whatever, is terrible.
It's pretty bad.
It's like, okay, this is really affordable, but there are no outlets. There is not an outlet by the door of the office upstairs. You cannot put a lamp by the door. It is pitch black. You have to literally open the door, hope a ghost doesn't get you, and run to the back and turn a light on.
A ghost.
That's why I don't.
No,
that's why I don't sleep down here on my own.
Just to explain.
There's no lighting in here. That's why we can't do face cam.
Theoretically, if I was married to somebody else like years ago, my hobbies would be all private. I don't think. Eventually, with you, I never gave up because I knew that you kind of liked some gaming stuff, but I had to be very careful because if I overdid it in the beginning, then I would kind of turn you off to it. So. It took a long time to get to where I was with you with that, but with the other people, that possible interest of ending up with just so I wouldn't be alone, no chance of that. Like, no chance for anime, gaming, nothing. No shared interests, no... they didn't like comic books, they didn't like certain... One of them didn't like movies at all. They just read, like...
No, it doesn't have to do with
Jane Eyre type stuff. Or whatever.
That's weird.
Yeah, they were really into romance stuff.
But, like, it doesn't have to do with the fact that I like video games, though, because I didn't like video games.
I know that. I'm saying, like, I wouldn't...
I'm saying it's the fact that we were best friends and got married, and we really like each other.
Yep.
That's the difference between that and marrying somebody that your family is like, oh, this person is acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine, I'll settle for this.
Yeah.
And then you're... not miserable, but you're just kind of there.
No, you're just kind of going through the motions.
You're not miserable, but you kind of are miserable because you're like thinking, wow, like you don't even know what it could be like.
Parts of myself, like, I kept hidden until I married you, and then like I let you see more of like the kind of like person that I was. Like I don't pretend to be different. Like, I'm just, you know all my hobbies, all the things that I like to do, how I speak, the things I like to eat. I don't, I feel like a lot of people's marriages, they keep things separate.
Yeah, I know.
My parents especially are like that. My dad has his own hobbies, my mom has their own hobbies, and they don't. My dad has a room where he hangs out. It's not really a game room or anything like that because he can't play video games because his eyes hurt. And then my mom goes downstairs and watches the TV she watches, and my dad watches the shows he wants in his room. And it's just like they never really hang out all that much. The only time they hang out is like when they're going through the motions and going outside to the park or something, which they're still doing. They still go to the park. But that's about it. They go for a walk. Maybe they'll go get a coffee or something, and then they go to their respective jobs, and that's it, really. That's
like when they're home, they don't like spending
right.
time together.
So when I was a kid,
it's like they have to force themselves to go out and like do the date thing. So they
I know
try to be good for
I know
their
a lot of
marriage.
couples like that. My grandparents were kind of like us in the sense that they worked together, and they were always around each other. Like my grandpa, after he retired being chief of police, and he became a hot dog man for 25, 30 years, they opened the hot dog business together, and they were both home. So, like, when I was dropped off, my dad went to go work to the post office, or when he was doing a side job building stuff, like in construction, and my mom was substitute teaching somewhere before she got her teaching degree or whatever, and was never home. I was dropped off at my grandparents' house, which I lived in a 2-story house, like apartment thing in New York, and the downstairs was where my family lived, and then upstairs was my grandparents were. So when my family went to work, I'd be up with my grandparents all the time, and the difference that I saw is my grandparents were always together. Like, they were always working.
Am I keeping you from something?
Huh? Oh, no. I mean, I was going to have some ice cream and then do Monster Hunter, but...
Oh, you're done with the stream.
Yeah, I'm done with the stream. I don't want to lose any more tonight.
Okay, because I was like, oops. That's cool. Well,
yeah.
I don't have an hour to explain whatever.
Oh, that's fine. So anyway, people, that is Harley Quinn. Again, if you want to know how to get this character just to get back into work mode, real quick, she's available with the first issue of Batman 0 Fortnite, which you can get physically in stores. Just make sure it is shrink wrapped. Otherwise, someone more than likely has gotten the code. You can go through the DC Infinite service, but make sure that you are a subscriber paying $7.99 a month. And then just drop your subscription after a month if you want. Although there's a lot of great comics on there. I think, having access to thousands of comics for $7 a month is not a bad thing. But if you're doing it to get new releases and stuff like that, you're really not going to get new releases. Like, at all.
Yeah.
But make sure, if you do the DC Infinite thing, this is important. You need to know this. Read the entire issue of the first issue of 0 Point, and then you will get an alert. If you're a subscriber to the service, you'll get an alert to your email that you're connected to after you finish reading the issue, and then you'll get a code. If the code does not work, within 24 hours, you will get a new code from DC or whatever company's distributing the thing. If you don't get it, then there's a thing on their forum where you can go and report that to them, and they'll try to get you a code as soon as they can. So, yeah. That's it. That's all. That's how you get Harley Quinn. If you can't do all that other stuff, then in June the character will be coming out for the store. Thank you for poking me. And you can get her for whatever the cost of skins is in this game. I keep forgetting, so I don't really know. But there's one more stream tonight. It will be Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is very different than Fortnite. If you don't like watching anything other than Fortnite, check out my different Fortnite streams. I guarantee you the gameplay's terrible, but if you enjoy more of this crazy commentary, then there you go. But I'm going to be hunting 2 awesome monsters tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. There might be some girlish screams because fighting the Magamalo thing.
Some people on Twitch and also like Chad and someone named A Drill on Twitch and some other people were helping me learn to trap monsters.
Oh, cool.
So I can tell you how to do it, but you're gonna need a lot of trank bombs.
I'm not in the thing of trapping yet.
You don't want to trap anyone.
No,
I'm
gonna kill the monsters. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, people.
All right, guys. I will see you at 11 o'clock with the other stream if you want to hang out with that. If not, have a great night. The next time I'll be looking at a Fortnite character if it's superhero or Marvel related or a video game character I care about. I only play this game when it interests me, to be honest. So, have a good one, and see you on not this. Bye-bye.
See ya.